Okay, and we are back yet again with Junkyard Dave, this time running Bucky O'Hare, and the incentive was met for the upgrade to hard mode. So, as per our last run, when you're ready, count us in and take it away.
Thank you. So I'll take like 1 extra second here just to explain the difference between normal and hard mode. So thank you guys for unlocking that incentive. And hard mode, this is right now in normal. As you can kind of see, we have a Toad thing and he's attacking Bucky, and there is a health bar that is very, very, very useful. In hard mode, everything becomes an instant one-hit KO. So we no longer basically have the ability to take any hits, and it is a really, 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 really cool speedrun. One of my favorite for the NES anyway. So, starting here, actually, wait, I'm going to turn this down slightly. Hardest part of hard mode is just spelling out hard, honestly. So, we can count you down, we'll say 3, 2, 1, go.
It's locked. F12.
Ah, thank you. Oh, we got cat helping. Thank you. Okay, so we'll say 3, 2, 1, go, and then obviously on go. So we'll say 3, 2, 1, go. So, starting off, the only reason that we play in Japanese is because of the text. The text saves you anywhere from 12 to 16 seconds, so it's actually pretty substantial. And I will try to raise the volume quickly. So yeah, this is the Green Planet. There's a couple categories in this game. There's Warp List, Normal, and Hard Mode. The actually route of the planets don't actually change. So we want to do Green Planet first, and then we also want to go to Blue Planet. So after we get Blue Planet, there's somebody named Jenny, and this is where talking in this game and explaining stuff is actually impossible. So in Green Planet, there's not a whole lot of like terrible things. As I say that, this screen actually has like a triple pixel perfect jump that I'm kind of tempted to go for, but we won't. We'll play it safe. Just because, again, in the marathon, the death here is actually probably close to like 30 seconds, so it does bump up the estimate quite a bit. So anything that can cause damage is now one-hit kill in hard mode. Hard mode was originally like an anti-piracy feature, so in the olden days, if you actually copied this disc to like a floppy disk and something like that, and you tried to play it, it would actually come back and everything would be a one-hit KO. And it was just Konami's anti-piracy measure, which they were actually kind of infamous for in the 90s. There's quite a few games where they actually had kind of like anti-piracy features enabled. So after this screen is probably one of the harder screens actually in hard mode. It's this laser kind of like section screen. If you don't know how to get through this screen, it's actually extremely painful and extremely hard. But once you learn how to kind of like run through the lasers and spawn the lasers in a certain way, it's not too terrible. This is one of the harder screens in hard mode, and we enter our first boss who takes 40 hits to kill. In this game, every bullet is 1 and 1 second hit. Be careful not to like walk into his face and die. So hopefully we can do a 2 cycle here, which... Okay, we got it. The 2 cycle saves about like 7 seconds or something like that. And we specifically do Green Planet first because then we get somebody called Blinky, this robot guy. And we specifically need him because for whatever reason the developers decided to make these ice blocks impossible to destroy unless you're Blinky. So you literally cannot progress without this robot, which is the only reason why we do Green Planet first. And then we end up going to Blue Planet to basically save Jenny, who is a DPS god. And there's no other way that you can out-DPS anybody in this game. So, there's a screen coming up that is easily the hardest screen in the entire game. It's the iceberg. Ironically, on Warpless Normal, the iceberg is like completely free. You don't have to do anything except stand there, but it is one of the hardest screens in Blue Planet and one of the hardest screens in the entire game in hard mode Bucky. Because you have basically toads that spawn, and as they spawn, okay, if you want to explain this, I'll just...
Yeah, it's an iceberg and it bumps, like we would have thought. So whatever happens happens here is that basically you're supposedly trying to survive the attack of the toads, and at the same time the chopper there's dropping bombs on you if there wasn't enough. So every time the helicopter up there drops a bomb, it reduces the length of the iceberg, so your standing place kind of gets reduced, which makes things exceedingly harder, sorry. And at the same time, you also are on this iceberg thing that bobs, as I was saying, and it kind of eats out your jump input, which makes things lovely. So you had to take that into account as well. But we're doing fairly swimmingly, I would say. So
First try, let's go.
there you go.
Yes, it is impossible to talk during that section. It is so hard. To put into perspective, some people blind raced this many years ago, and it took some of the people in that blind race over 4 hours to beat that section. Oh, there we go. We die.
See, we survived the iceberg and then we died the easy part.
Yes, hardest screen in the game.
Speaking of people that take 4 hours to do things, maybe it would take us 4 hours to do this.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, like if you can beat Iceberg on hard mode, you can beat any other level. So that's the thing. Okay, we got a weird pattern here. Of course, dude.
Told ya.
Yeah, literally. Alright, so now you can start to see like the pain of hard mode. So, ironically, when you come down in that section, you don't want like that little ice block to get trapped between those two like ice cubes, whatever you want to call them. So hopefully we can escape again. Okay, this time it didn't do that and be weird, so thank you. And coming up we have a terrible, terrible boss. He's called Al Negator, I think, is his actual canon name. But he is incredibly notable because he is the only other boss that you fight when you don't have Jenny. And he just happens to have some of the highest health in the game. He has actually 160 hits. So I'll be quiet. Alright. So yeah, every bullet does 1 damage and he takes 160 shots to kill, so he's just not fun. He is a mash fest. But it's all worth it because of Jenny, which is why we unlocked her. You'll literally see in the next one kind of like what Jenny does and why she's so useful. So entering Red Planet, we have actually something that happens in this category, hard mode and in normal. Warpless is aptly named because you obviously don't do it, but in hard mode and normal, there's actually 2 death warps that cut out a huge amount of auto-scroller kind of like levels that you don't have to play through. And this is a double 3-frame window, so we'll try it anyway. Nice. And then that jump off the rock is a little bit scary, but we got that too. But we're good. So we have a very Crashman-esque thing in terms of Mega Man. Konami published this game after Mega Man and like anything else, so they probably stole some ideas from Battletoads and Mega Man. And these coins power up characters, so we want to power up Jenny as fast as possible. All the characters, I have to wait here, all the characters actually have their own individual power bars, but they don't have, it's impossible to talk and play this game. They share health. So you can see when I switch back to Jenny, she'll have more of a power bar than Bucky because she collected one of those coins. So I see Zoda in chat. I promise you I fixed this screen the other day.
You might not look like it, but I promise you that you did that.
I did. I promise you, Zoda. I told Zoda last time, I was like, dude, I fixed Red Planet's climb. But, so we're setting up for the death warp here. This jump is almost a 1-frame window, but there's a very nice buffer for it. And we want to die very specifically coming up here, so I'll explain that in a sec. So we want to fly and die. Okay, we got it. So if you die and your body gets pushed into the screen transition, you actually skip ahead several screens. And in this case, it skipped an auto-scroller section, and we are able to actually just warp right to the boss. So we have Yellow Planet coming up, which is probably one of the harder planets in hard mode. Yellow Planet involves a lot of character switching and a very precise little bump there on the crater. We want to bump the crater because now these like weird snake things that spawn, there's only going to be 2 in the screen that spawn. Normally if you don't... Oh shit. Shoot! I don't know if I can swear. But normally if you don't bump that thing, there's actually 3 that... So you'll actually see here, there's going to be 3 snakes that spawn, so... It gets rid of one of these snakes, although weirdly, we might actually be okay here. Okay. So coming up here is kind of like the next kind of really hard section. You have to switch between all the characters in a very precise way to kind of get through this screen without dying. And I have to wait here because that shot was delayed, otherwise I would have walked right into the shot and died. And the death warp in this planet is very notable because it actually saves close to like upwards to 3 minutes or so. So we want to go like this, destroy that, and then die on the edge of the ship. So we also got pushed over, and we warp to the boss, which honestly saves again close to like 3 minutes. This boss kill is like a 3 pixel window, so let's see if we can get it. It is notoriously difficult for Jenny. Okay, I was gonna say it was over like a pixel, but it's notoriously difficult for... No, I'm too far again. Okay, just take me, man. That's too far. You only have like seconds to set this thing up, and the window itself is, again, like a 3 pixel window, so it's a very, very tight window. And I think 3rd try is the charm. That felt good. There you go. See? Just pretend that's what happened. So we spend all this time and energy to save all the people from the planet. We obviously got like the duck back and the boy back, and we got Blinky, we got Jenny, and then we get re-kidnapped. Everybody literally gets thrown into jail, and they get like this hypnotized beam, I guess, like on them. So that's a thing. Time to set up the swear jar for the runners. Probably a good idea. Actually, for you.
I hadn't said a word.
Man, you make like $1 million off cat alone. So we're in the cell. The cell is weird. This screen in particular is actually very interesting because there's a glitch that's a 1-frame window that I'll try for, which is Blinky exclusive. You can walk under these blocks, so we'll see if we can get it, but maybe not. Oh, we got it! So that's a 1-frame window to walk under those little blocks. It saves like a second. It's not a big thing, but it's kind of cool because it only works on that screen and it only works with Blinky. We have to take these lasers a little bit weird though because that was a strange cycle. And coming up is one of the worst boss fights because luckily you fight Jenny first, but the downside is Jenny has like 140 health or something I've seen as well. So jumping through this laser is like a 3-frame window, I believe. And then I'll be quiet here because Jenny is horrible. Oh, that's okay. So Jenny has like 140 health or something, as I said. She survived a little bit more than she's supposed to, but we didn't die, so I guess that's the thing.
In honor of you not dying, do you have a second for a quick donation?
Sure.
So we have a $25 donation from KLM1187 saying, just in time for Bucky. Good luck, Dave, and all the other runners, and go GOC.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, Kellen. So Cell is one of the worst jumps. Or sorry, Cell has some of the worst jumps in this entire game too. That was one of them, so luckily we got through that screen without dying. And then after the next boss fight, there's another kind of notoriously difficult and scary jump at the end of the screen. Actually, at the end of the screen and the beginning of the screen. So you can kind of see now more properly why Jenny is used and why she's at full power now. And that's because she has this ball attack, which is obscene. I think it does something like 3 damage per frame, like per frame. So no matter how fast you mash or do anything with the other characters, like you cannot out DPS Jenny. She's just utterly insane for the damage output she's able to do. But controlling the ball is way harder than you think it would be. It's like very slippery. So this jump is terrible. Okay, that's one. And that's two. Both of those jumps are horrible. And I didn't die in this section, so I'll take that as well. There's a pixel window here that I always have to kind of like squint at. So if you see where Bucky's foot is right here, on, I guess like it would be his right foot if you were looking at it that way. He's kind of like half stepping over the pixel. If you stand here, it basically makes this auto scroller, I would say, partially free, because otherwise you have to dodge all this other stuff. And yeah, so as long as you stand here and you shoot directly up, you can stand here. It's not safe in the sense like you still have to obviously destroy like these things that appear on screen. But it's safe in the sense that you can stand here for about maybe like 60% of the auto scroller, and you don't have to move around and worry about stuff falling on your head or whatever the case is. I would actually know, like I would like to know who discovered this, because I actually don't. There's some stuff where it was just like before my time, so I assume maybe Callum did it. But so this auto scroller, if you have anything else you want to say, it's basically another minute of just waiting to get to the top. So this is the only downside I feel in Bucky O'Hare, because realistically the rest of the run really moves at a nice fast pace. But this one is one of the only auto scrollers you cannot skip. But I guess luckily we're almost at the top. If you die here at any point in time, you lose like close to 2 minutes, so it's actually horrible. But funny enough, the way that I guess like deaths work in this, you cannot skip kind of like vertical sections. If you die and get pushed into a transition, it's only for more horizontal, like going from stage A to B or whatever. So we have the duck, and the duck is dead. Weirdly, the way that you end on a character is actually how you start the next screen, like with that character. So this is the only screen that you actually have control, that you can switch to somebody else. Every other spot you lose control. So we want to switch to the boy just so the next screen that we actually start, we start with the boy. And we are going to enter a stage called Salvage, which is pretty difficult as well. There's some fairly hard stuff in Salvage, but especially Magma coming up. So we want to duck and then just immediately run like that, and that allows that guy to like jump out of the way and despawn. And we also want to jump over this guy and then fall, and then coming up we have like this little bug section, which is kind of weird. I don't know if you want to explain that, but
It's just bugs.
it's just bugs. Okay.
These bugs?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's like a quite precise set of jumps that you want to kind of put them in a chain and then just like jump accordingly, because like their hitboxes are kind of finicky. I remember spending here quite a bit of time whenever I went to the hard mode. And same for these nice guys crawling all over the screen, which is always nice to have bugs crawling all over the screen. But you need to take it kind of slow, because like you need to let them pass up and down. And these levels are very funny, so like I would advise you to really on your guys. Just look at that, there you go. See?
Yeah, there you go. We lose all speed.
Yeah, that's always fun in a speed run.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Close.
Yeah. We didn't die. There is a one cycle in this room, but it's probably one of the hardest things to do in the game. If you mess up, you have to kind of react and not get shot there. So coming up here, there's a really weird section with Blinky. There is actually a 1-frame window at the very end of the next screen, and it saves about maybe a second and a half, but it depends if Blinky can run under all these weird things. Okay, and he bumped anyway. If he can go under all these things, you can jump at the end. We'll try for it anyway. We'll see if we can get it. You can jump out of this little magma thing without the block. Oh, we got it! There you go. Yeah, if you do that section perfectly... Sorry, 1 second. can skip to the end and obviously jump out of the mud on a 1-frame window. Or blood, or whatever that's supposed to be. Maybe bloody mud.
I hope it's just mud, honestly.
I don't know what it is. I always thought it was just blood.
Gross.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're like alien things. Okay, so Magma starts off immediately with, not this room, but the next room, one of the worst jumps in the game, but Omquat normalized this strat, and he made it bearable. So, big hands up to Omquat. It used to be like a 2-frame jump there, and everybody hated it on pace. But he developed a better strat that people probably like 10 years ago should have figured out. But Magma is easily probably the hardest, I think, in the entire game in terms of like overall difficulty. The amount of stuff that you have to kind of do in Magma is ridiculous, both in hard mode but also in normal. I would say across every category, actually, Magma is probably the hardest stage, just overall in general. So we have this weird section coming up here. I'll try, because honestly I didn't take too many deaths. There's a 2-pixel window that we can jump. Oh, we got it! Dude, that's legendary. But you can jump over that guy. It's a 2-pixel window to land in front of him without dying. And you have to kind of like charge and jump weirdly here. So we'll go and exit. There's a very scary strat towards the end of Magma that, okay, we got stuck in this weird platform. And this screen that I actually figured out myself, but it's always kind of rough to do, so we'll see if we can get that too. It's just called duck strat. I didn't really name it anything. So you can jump up, and we got that too. And for whatever reason, we decided to switch off the duck. So entering this guy here, okay, I cannot talk and explain this section either. There's like these rotating rooms, and you really need to time all your shots properly, otherwise you get killed by these toads that kind of shoot you immediately upon entering. Same with Willy here. It's like, I think 2 3-frame shots, or 2 2-frame shots, or whatever. Sorry, I cannot explain that section either. But it's like 3 2-frame shots in a row that you have to do to make sure that you don't get killed like that. So these little guys are on stage timers. They drop down from the ceiling, and it is really easy for them to just drop on your head, especially in hard mode, and kill you. So luckily we're on a good kind of stage timer because they're giving me patterns that I can recognize. And on this last one we can spawn them early, and then we don't have to worry about another one dropping on our head. So this pattern can be high or low on this boss. We want to see high. Okay, good, nice. So that was a really good Magma. Sometimes that last section can shoot low, and you're stuck in the ball charge, so it'll automatically kill you unless you like preemptively end it. So coming up is Escape. Escape is one of the hardest on hard mode. It is one of the hardest, I think, also on normal. Like it used to be absolutely free in normal. But in hard mode, there became a lot of strats that are extremely difficult to do. And in normal, there became a lot of... I can't talk and play this. It's impossible, this game. In normal mode, there was Ireland of Endor and Sidetrack that really kind of like pushed down what was possible with some of the bosses and the boss fights. So I need to be really careful. There's actually no checkpoint for like 1.5 minutes on this first part. And after this next enemy here, I have to switch to the duck. Oh my... Why, dude?
Switched.
Yeah. We got killed with Blinky's head. Anyway, that's... Okay, we're living proof of what we just talked about. You literally lose almost like 1 minute on this first section alone. So, in a marathon setting, it's terrible. And ironically, I would say, up until this point, hard mode, like my PB was probably on PB pace. This was actually quite good, because the amount of deaths that I had, I think so far is 4, and in my old PB it's 3. And I recently ran this deathless, but I missed an important quick kill at the very end, so it would have lost like 40 seconds. But on this next section here, we want to switch to the duck, Not yet. Okay, here. Okay. Now we need to be extremely careful, because after this smoke right there is the checkpoint. So now we're free. Well, free from that last section anyway. There's still a lot left in this. So there's a little bit of a more auto-scrollery section where like things are flying at you and ships are trying to shoot you. But coming up after this next section is probably, in my opinion, the hardest part of hard mode. There's like this flying head boss, which is honestly terrifying in this mode. He's essentially random in how he shoots. The only thing that's true about him is he can have like 3 bullets on the screen at the same time. But how the 3 bullets come out is completely random in how he shoots them. So in hard mode, where you can't take any damage, this becomes an incredibly horrible fight every time, so I'm just going to be quiet. There's also a 7-frame window that I just did to do double damage on him. Which I got actually, but... How he breaks apart, he can either go top or bottom. And how he flies around and shoots is again random. So he's the worst thing in this mode by far. Again, the only true statement is he can have 3 bullets on screen at the same time. So it's a really, really horrible... Oh, you jerk. Yeah, no, this guy is like where 90% of my PVs just die. And the best part about him is like he's super random in how he shoots. But sorry, I cannot talk. How he shoots is very random, as I was gonna say. Okay, wait, I'm just not gonna talk. 1 second. It's impossible to talk on this guy. I was gonna say the best part about him is if you die, it's like 40 seconds lost as well. So there's a common theme in hard mode with some of the things killing you taking like 40 seconds or more at the very end of the game. So it makes PVs and PVing always a pain. Okay, you're being very uncomfortable. Okay, we're free. So you're thinking, oh yeah, you know what, that head boss sucked. You know, maybe the rest of the game is easier. Guess what? No! Now we have like a 2-pixel kill, which in hard mode is also very horrible. So you have 2 pixels to line up this specific kill on this boss. At the very back, he's got kind of like a jet engine thing going on, and you have to like line up within 2 pixels, both the top and bottom part, and then kill him that way, without taking damage while alternating between getting shot. And it is also one of the worst parts of the speedrun, I think, in hard mode, because if you die at that point, you actually lose like close to a minute again. And let's say you don't cycle the boss properly, you lose close to a minute if you let the boss cycle properly. So I will again be quiet because this is a terrible... No. See? So we're gonna try it again, I think. Or you know what? If this turret died, okay, that's okay. We'll try again. Because I was gonna say, if you don't get like the first couple of cycles, waiting for the ship to go around again, you lose like a minute and a half. Like it's such a slow cycle. And if you die on that ship part, you also lose like close to 30 seconds. So it's incredibly horrible in terms of like a marathon. But it's easily, again, one of the places where hard mode PVs die. I was actually like 40 seconds ahead a couple of days ago running hard mode. On par for possibly second place, and I missed the ship kill. So my run basically immediately became invalidated. And the rest of the health on the ship doesn't matter until this part right here. So, okay. This time we're good. So, we have one last boss coming up. I'll try to do kind of like a weird modified kill I was practicing the other day. It's It's like a hybrid between Callum's old record kill and something a little bit faster than Callum's old record kill. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, that was the scariest part. But I'll probably have to be Bucky here, so that's okay. Okay, well, whatever. So we'll probably just do it the old-fashioned way. Because Callum switched between Bucky and this section here. We'll just do that to kill him, I think. But I figured out a way that was noticeably faster to kill him the other day, but I'm probably not practiced enough for that yet. Okay, so time will be time. So it was something like 29, whatever. I'll take that. Anytime I can get under 30 minutes in a no reset kind of setting is good, because this is a very, very, very hard speed run, and it's incredibly easy to lose tons of time everywhere.
And it looks to have been a 29:41 on our end.
That seemed about right. I just wasn't able to split myself, but 29:41 sounds correct.
That was awesome. That looked so difficult. The just watching the health bar deplete immediately is so disheartening.
Like, honestly, it's one of those things where, like, you don't know what you're doing until you kind of play it. So, like, load up Bucky later, type in hard exclamation point, and just try to do anything, and you'll literally see how horrible it is.
I will have to do that.
Yeah, it's a rough one, but it's a very fun speedrun, and I enjoy it a lot. So thank you guys for allowing us to do Goof Troop in this one.
Well, thank you very much for those 2 awesome runs. Goof Troop was a blast, as was Bucky, and appreciate both of you coming out and running in the event. And for everyone hanging out in chat still, just hang tight, and we will be back with our next run.
Cool. Thank you very much.